Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And in this one, I'm going to be doing a breakdown of a newly emerging marksmanship hunter build when it comes to midnight PvP, and it centralizes around the Dark Ranger hero talent tree. So if you're sick and tired of having to sit posted up with 3-second aim shots and everybody's just line of sighting you and stopping you from getting that off, this build's going to feel a lot better to you. It focuses around Black Arrow and resets associated to it. It also focuses around Rapid Fire, which are all abilities that were most recently buffed, which makes them even more powerful in the current meta. So I'm going to be doing a rundown of a solo shuffle and my thoughts and my actions in each match, so you can take those thoughts and execute on them for yourself in order to see the same success. So as a marksmanship hunter at the moment, we got pruned a lot in Midnight. We lost Scatter Shot, we lost a lot of Roots. We basically only have Concussive Shot remaining with Binding Shot. So you want to be playing very ranged and far away. Playing aggressive and pushing in, not going to work out too well for you. So we're going to sit very far in the back, bait the enemies to get bored and attack somebody else, basically. So we're just going to sit in our camouflage and just chill. You also know that I'm playing with a pet. That is to guarantee that we get Mortal Strike, because this build does not use aim shot very often. So the pet just makes sure we have Mortal Strike up. I was noticing that maybe we don't need the pet. I think there's been some debate amongst this build, but we sneak in next to the priest here. We're ready to stun and we are ready to trap, and you want to be using intimidation and freezing trap right away, and then immediately go after your target. So I kind of want to go after the leather target here, being the Devourer Demon Hunter. Maybe that won't be the case when they buff their armor on Tuesday, but I think leather targets are a bit easier to take down, as a majority of your damage is physical. You can see the Rapid Fire here did a ton of damage, and Rapid Fire basically gives you a Black Arrow proc and fires one at the beginning and end, and it's going to be the biggest portion of damage out of your kit. We're going to use our Valdi here into an instant aim shot and then into another Rapid Fire, which is then going to reset our Black Arrow, and it's going to give us a huge amount of damage. With our rotation, we basically want to be rotating between aim shot into arcane shot into Rapid Fire into arcane shot into aim shot into arcane shot. That would be like the ideal. You're not getting attacked, you're not having to move. We're using Binding Shot, we're baiting Fade, and we're baiting Shadow or Death before going for our freezing trap, and then we're setting up damage here again. We got an instant aim shot into the arcane shot into the Rapid Fire. I actually decided to trank shot because I wanted to get his fortitude off and blast some damage there, and we managed to actually drop him through darkness. Obviously I think here mostly from the Rep Paladin with his spinning hammers and our Fistweaver monk, but we were able to dunk on him. So general rotation is, it's kind of almost like a Windwalker monk, where you don't want to like press the same ability 2 times in a row because of that. So Rapid Fire into arcane shot into Black Arrow, because it resets your Black Arrow if you didn't already do it. Basically you just want to be pressing Black Arrow as much as possible, and the True Shot window can get kind of confusing as well, because the True Shot window will give you a big Black Arrow proc, and then you want to use that, and then you want to use Rapid Fire, then you want to use Black Arrow proc, then you want to use Wailing Arrow, which will then give you another Black Arrow. So you just like always weaving a different ability before a Black Arrow, and it's going to give you a huge amount of damage. Another useful combination of abilities is the Master's Call with the aspect of the cheetah. When you use this with a concussive shot, it's your vroom, you're getting away from basically any melee DPS in the game, and that's kind of like one of your, almost as good as an aspect of the turtle. So you do want to think about using those abilities in tandem. Now obviously there are other mechanics like solar beams that you want to be aware of for your healer, but this lobby we don't have to worry about that. So we Black Arrow, we're sitting in the back, we Rapid Fire, and then we go into another Black Arrow, and then we can just shoot an arcane shot. We took like 40% of his HP just kind of casually sitting in the back, and then when we're getting ready to set up our cooldowns, we pop True Shot, that resets Black Arrow. Now we can do Wailing Arrow, this resets Black Arrow, and we just get another one which gets Life Cocoon, and we're just chilling away from the Demon Hunter. Although I think I kind of wanted to go in here, but going in can sometimes come to bite you. So I'm also just kind of like attacking whatever is basically in the open. So this Mystery Monk is riding out here in the open, blasting Rapid Fire, Black Arrow into arcane shot, into aim shot, into arcane shot. We're tossing down Binding Shot to peel off these attackers that are pushing towards me, and give time for our priest to set up. He's got Ultimate Penitence up in the sky here, and we're just going to keep cutting away with Disengage and rotating around the outside of the map. Now I could have probably trapped the Mystery Monk there off of the Binding Shot, but I still kind of just prioritize maximum damage and maximum range away from my opponents. I feel like this just gives me a better vantage point a lot of the times. I guess with camouflage at the beginning you can kind of do it, but you just look at this. Look at this pressure we have on the Mystery Monk. We actually forced him to port away. So this comp with Ret and Hunter is really good, using our instant aim shot procs. I stun the Demon Hunter here because he's in Metamorphosis. Whenever they do that, they want a Collapsing Star, which hits really hard, which you're about to see here. So it chunks me about 30% of my health. I should have honestly walled it, Whenever you see collapsing star, it's better to use a cooldown than to gamble if you will survive, if it connects to you or not. And I'm still just kind of blasting and cleaving damage onto multiple targets. Fist Fever, I've noticed with Fist Fever at least that this can work if you have an exceedingly high amount of burst and a stun, where you kind of punish them for running in and you keep them low and then you stun them and you burst them. So I'm kind of just going after the monk and trying to force him back a bit while staying away from the Enhanced Shaman as much as possible, and just line of sighting him at the pillar with rapid fire, which is why this build's really nice. If I was playing the other build, I'd be staying still casting aim shots, and I'd probably be taking a lot more damage. So this build is nice for that. And we have the pet to keep Mortal Strike up, because you see I probably haven't pressed aim shot in a really long time. I preemptively put a trap on the pillar knowing the monk wants to run to line, and he walks into it. Unfortunately, the Demon Hunter had reverse, but then we fear him off the reverse. So now we can set up damage on the Demon Hunter. Rapid Fire, which gives us Black Arrow. That also, Rapid Fire also gives us an Arcane Shot damage increase, so we can rotate between those two instant casts. And we're going to have our True Shot coming up, which is going to reset our Black Arrow. So we want to press Black Arrow, and then we can do Wailing Arrow, and then we can do Black Arrow again, and it's a huge amount of burst. And then we're going to probably aim shot pretty soon, but we have Rapid Fire, so we don't have to. Look at that. No aim shots. No hands. No hands, no aim shots. Rapid Fire, Black Arrow out of it into Arcane, into aim shot, into Arcane. You can get aim shots off though, and they still do chunk quite a large amount. We got Life Cocoon with that one, and they are just terrified at the pillar. They are just hiding, cowering in the corner. We feign death to interrupt the hex cast. So if you don't have counter shot, you can just use feign death to stop a cast, like crowd controls, like Polymorph and Hex. And now the monk is starting to roll in, so we'll just trap him. He's right next to me. No one's there. I'm just going to trap him and swap onto this shaman and chunk out a bunch of damage with the instant aim shots and get some Black Arrow procs and Arcane Shot amplifications, and just absolutely rock his world with a Rapid Fire around the corner. The Rapid Fire is your big window, because the Black Arrow procs during it, and then the reset Black Arrow at the end of it is just like the creme de la creme when it comes to the available burst damage of this build. I found this build to be really good for 1v1s. It's good in Battleground Blitz. It seems to be just well-rounded in general when it comes to PvP, so I would highly recommend it. Marksman is also very accessible. I feel like it's one of the more accessible specs, and it just feels good when you get these big crits whenever I'm playing the specialization, so I would recommend it. It's one of my top recommended ones right at the moment. They're between the top 3 classes, and that was before this build. This build is kind of pushing it even a little bit beyond that threshold. It's just really good. The only thing that was kind of getting me caught up a bit was not reacting fast enough to some of the burst damage. And Devour Demon Hunter, Red Paladin, these guys got a lot of burst damage, so you got to be really heads up when it comes to them. But we'll start in Camouflage. So you have two choices: either to start with aim shot from very far away, or to push in and go for stun trap on the healer. Those are your two choices. I'm kind of picking like a middle ground because the Demon Hunter can see stealth, and then I wrap around the corner to try and stun into trap likely. But we also want to get rid of this Black Arrow proc. So Black Arrow, Rapid Fire, Black Arrow, Arcane Shot. That's kind of like a standard opener, no cooldowns. It can make people panic. It makes people trade cooldowns when they don't need to. So I really like that. And I'm kind of just switching my damage between the Ret and the Demon Hunter, whatever's in line of sight, just always attacking. We get the Hunter's mark up, but you can see his Ret is line of sight. He's got wall, so we go for stun, trap. Demon Hunter might have reverse magic here, so honestly putting like a binding shot on the Demon Hunter wouldn't be too bad of an idea. He swaps over to the Demon Hunter. I silence him. We rapid fire it, and just like that, 80% of his health gone in the little burst window. This is where we're using our Cheetah and our Master's Call. So this is going to allow us to get away from the Ret Paladin wings without using Disengage, and like, you can't get to us. We can just chill in the back. You want to be using Trank Shots on Blessing of Freedom. I don't think I used it here because I stunned him, but Trank Shot is actually really strong effect. You want to get that Powered Fortitude off. You want to get Freedoms and Blessing of Protections off. You want to kind of be pre-purging. Sometimes it's easy to get ahead of yourself like I am right now, where you're just doing a lot of damage. You just want to press the buttons that do damage. So we'll drop down Volley. We'll go into Aim Shot, and then we get Black Arrows and Arcane Shot procs off of that, and it's just so much damage. Then our Rapid Fire is available. We feign death the wings here from the Ret Paladin to reduce some damage, and we use Exhilaration, which as Dark Ranger gives us a wall as well. And then we'll chain that into Roar of Sacrifice, chain that into a wall because the wings are still up. Demon Hunter's in meta, and I see Life Cocoon on the Shaman, which is that green icon, which means it's not available for me, so I need to make myself durable. We get a trap. Demon Hunter's really low. Disengage back away from the Ret Paladin. Just trying to bait him back out in the open. I see Ultimate Penitence is up on the Priest here, which is a big like immunity, scary cooldown, so I'm not too worried about kind of like scoring a kill. We're just trying to avoid as much damage as possible by staying away from the Demon Hunter, and we just keep doing on cooldown Rapid Fire, Black Arrow, Arcane Shot, and try to get aim shots off when we can in between. But you can see like it's so hard to get an aim shot sometimes. That's why this build is nice, so even if you can't manage to get one, you're still going to get a lot of impactful damage. We drop a binding shot down on the Ret Paladin, move over to the Demon Hunter, try and poke him. He's just cowering at the pillar again. They're just terrified of me. I've got my Volley available, so we can drop down this Volley. We got our Black Arrow already procced and reset, so we're going to be able to do a lot of damage. We get a black arrow, rapid fire. This resets our black arrow, and we can use arcane shot, and we're sitting on an instant aim shot. We just got like the big payload right now in terms of procs. So the priest actually doing a really good job of just keeping their team alive regardless of the lottery procs that we've been able to get in that position. We just keep staying far away, just lobbing damage, let our monkeys in cap, let our monkeys to sleep, don't overextend, keep them pinned at the pillar, keep poking them with damage. I see a collapsing star being casted, so we feign death, and that just interrupts the cast, stops it from connecting. And if you time it, it can sometimes reduce it. I see an opportunity to sneak it for stun trap, but he's on polymorph DR, which shows up here next to the frame. So it was a mistake to stun there. And then look, I'm in this weird position. See, like as soon as I start trying to be aggressive and go in for trap, now I got to deal with fade, and then I die. This is why I say that like this can be very dangerous when you try to play aggressive. And it's one of the things where you got to be very calculated, very tactical when you do it. Because if you're struggling on your hunter, it's probably because you're like, go, run in, get the trap, win the game. And if you're doing that, you can get absolutely bowled over if you're not paying very close attention. So I prefer to just like sit back, Miyagi-Do, wax on, wax off, and just wait for that opportunity. Don't try and force anything. I found more success playing that way. Obviously, when there are opportunities to trap, you want to take advantage of them. But leaning more into the passive kiting playstyle is going to be a safer result. But that's the breakdown of the build, basically. The shortcomings potentially as well, and how to minimize their effects, as well as the amazing pros that come with this specialization. So I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown and this run through. Thank you guys very much for watching the video and supporting the content over all of these years. We're still working diligently to get to 100,000 subscribers. It's very difficult as a PvP creator, but we did just beat a 70,000 subscriber boss, which I didn't think was going to happen. So we're going to keep trucking. We're going to keep going. Thank you guys as always, and I will see you in the next one.